Let us try to understand the concept of random variable, which is frequently used when we combine the study of probability and statistics, which we are going to do in the forthcoming lectures. Random variable can be constructed suitably from a sample space. So, a point in sample space has a definite value for a random variable. So basically, random variable is a function defined over the sample space. In order to understand this concept, let us consider the example of throwing of two dice. So as we already know, a dice is a cube. A die is a cube which is marked with numbers 1, 2, 3 up to 6 on its 6 faces. So if two such dice are thrown, the sample space consists of combinations of the numbers facing upward, and there are in all 36 combinations possible, which we have already discussed in previous lectures, starting from 1 1, 1 2 and so on up to 1 6. Similarly 2 1 and so on up to 2 6. So these are the possible outcomes for an event called tossing off or throwing of two dice. The last row is 6 1, 6 2 and so on up to 6 6. So this is a particular sample space which consists of 36 different points for this particular event of throwing of two dice. Now we can describe a random variable x. So let us call it as a random variable x as the sum of numbers on two dice. Sum of number of two dice. So this is how a random variable x is possibly described. This is not the only way. There are many ways in which we can have a subtraction or the modulus of subtraction of two dice and so on, multiplication of two numbers on two dice and so on. So this is just one possible way of defining random variable in this case. So obviously the sum is going to be 1 plus 1, then 1 plus 2 and so on up to 6 plus 6. So the smallest possible sum is 2 and the largest possible sum is 12. So these are the values of x which are possible, and each of these sample points is connected to is connected to one of these possible values of x. And why do we call it as a random variable? Because all these points occur with equal probability. So the process in some sense is random, or say stochastic as we call it in statistics. So we call this variable x as random. So now we can also assign a probability to this variable x. So we can calculate the probability of this first outcome 2, that is the possibility of getting 1 plus 1. So we can see that 1 plus 1 is possible only in this particular case, that is only one case out of these 36. So this 2 can be linked with a probability 1 by 36. Similarly, the addition 3 is possible in more than one ways, or the addition 3 is possible in more than one ways. 1 plus 2 gives 3, whereas 2 plus 1 also gives 3. So there are 2 by 36 or 2 ways out of the 36. Similarly, we can assign probability to each of these. Say 7 is possible in the largest number of cases, that is 4 plus 3, 3 plus 4, then 5 plus 2, 2 plus 5, then 6 plus 1 and 1 plus 6. So there are 6 possible ways. So 7 has the largest probability, namely 6 by 36. Similarly, 12 is possible in only one case where both of the dice show 6 and 6. So there is only 1 by 36 probability for this particular sum. So now we have assigned a probability value to each of the possible values of this random variable x. This can also be plotted on a graph. So x obviously being the independent variable comes on the x-axis, whereas the probability, which is a function of x, comes on the y-axis. So now note that this f of x is just the probability when this variable x has some particular value, say xi. So if xi is a given value of random variable, then pi, which is nothing but f of xi, is the probability associated with this value of random variable xi. So in this case of tossing of two dice, we can start with 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 12. So 1 has probability 0, and we can mark it here as 1 by 36, 2 by 36 and so on up to 6 by 36. And we see that as the number increases, the probability goes on increasing. It becomes highest for the number 7 and then it goes on decreasing, and for 12 it is again 1 by 36. So this is how we are able to construct a graph of the probability plotted against the value of random variable x. This fx, which gives the probability of occurrence of random variable x, is called as probability function. Probability function. It has many alternate names. It is also called as probability density or probability density function. Then it is also sometimes called as frequency function because it gives how frequently a variable x can have that particular value. That is nothing but the probability of that particular variable. So all these names mean the same thing, f of x. Let us consider another example before going further. Now, suppose there are 3 coins to be tossed. Obviously, the sample space is HHH, HTT and so on up to TTT. So there are in all 8 possible outcomes in this case. Now suppose we define a random variable x. Remember that we have to define the variable by our choice. We define the random variable x as the number of heads if 3 coins are tossed. Number of heads if 3 coins are tossed. So x in this case can have 4 possible values. If the outcome is TTT, tail, 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 the number of heads in this case is 0. Then the other possible outcome is THT, TTH and HTT. In that case, number of heads is 1. Then we have HHT, HTH and THH. In this case, number of heads is 2. And the first case, which is HHH, gives number of heads as 3. So number of heads when 3 coins are tossed can have 4 different values, namely 0, 1, 2 and 3. Now we can assign a probability, which is f of x, which is the probability density function or the frequency function. This case belongs to the TTT form of outcome. So of these 8 outcomes, only one corresponds to TTT. So probability with this is 1 by 8. For this, we have a probability of 3 by 8 because there are 3 different possible outcomes which give this result. Similarly, for 2 heads, we have 3 possible outcomes which are mentioned here. And for 3 heads, there is only one possible outcome which is mentioned here. So we have 1 by 8. So yes, we are having the values, so we can plot them on a graph. Note that these values of x are discrete, but that need not be always true. In this case, the values are discrete, but it can also have continuous values as well. So this particular case, starting from 0, 1, 2 and 3, the probability for 0 is say 1 by 8. Then probability for 1 is say 2 by 8. Again for 2 it is 2 by 8, and again for 3 it is 1 by 8. So this is a particular distribution which corresponds to this defined variable x, gives number of heads when 3 coins are tossed. We can extend this discussion to define further quantities associated with this random variable. Since this random variable can have xi possible values, so we can talk of some average value. This average is also sometimes called as expectation value, or it is also called as mean value. It is denoted by many different notations, sometimes by mu, sometimes by x bar, sometimes by x in the brackets, or sometimes by e of x, or simply e. We will carry forward this notation and define the average value mu as sum of xi into f of xi over all i's. So this is the definition of mean of all the values the random variable x can take. Or simply we can write it as summation of xi pi. So every value xi is to be multiplied by its probability pi, then all such quantities are summed over all possible i's. So in order to understand this, let us take this example itself and try to calculate mu. In this case, mu would be just 0 into 1 by 8. As per our definition, mu is summation xi pi. So first value is 0 into its first probability value is 1 by 8. So 0 into 1 by 8. Now it has to be summed over all possible values. So plus 1 into 3 by 8 plus 2 into 3 by 8 plus 3 into 1 by 8. So this can be solved easily to get a value for mu. Mu in this case is equal to 3 by 2, which is 1.5. So it is somewhere in between the allowed values of x from 0 to 3. We can clearly see that since this graph is symmetric, the mean has to lie at the middle, which is 1.5 or 3 by 2. Now since we are going to discuss the distribution of probabilities, let us take an example and see what happens. Suppose we plot a continuous distribution of p, and there are two such possible distributions. We note that these graphs are symmetric and both of them have the same mu. Let us label them as a and b. So both of these distributions a and b, though they are completely different, their mean value is the same, but their distributions of probabilities are quite different. This has a wider distribution, whereas curve B has a narrower distribution. So this span or distribution is smaller as compared to the span or distribution of A. So how do we differentiate between these two distributions? So we have to have with us a quantity which defines or which tells us something about this spread in the distribution. Such a quantity is called as variance, and it is denoted as variance of x, and it is defined as summation over all possible outcomes, that is I in this case, xi minus mu bracket squared into pi. So this is the variance associated with the random variable x. Since it involves the quantities which give a difference between xi and mu, it effectively tells us about the spread of the probabilities or the values of x that can be taken. Similarly, we can define another term called as standard deviation. It is denoted by letter sigma and is defined as a square root of variance of x. So once we have with us the variance, we can straightforwardly calculate the standard deviation for the given random variable x. If we try to calculate the variance for the example under consideration, in this case of tossing of coins, we get variance of x as equal to, so since mean is 3 by 2, so mean is 3 by 2, possible values of x are 0, 1, 2 and 3 with the corresponding probabilities 1 by 8, 3 by 8, 3 by 8 and 1 by 8. If we collect these and put it in the formula for variance, we get 0 minus 3 by 2. So this is first value of x, this is mean value of x, and we have to square them and multiply by the corresponding probability which is 1 by 8. So this is the first term, plus now the second value of x 1 minus the mean which is 3 by 2, square it and multiply it by the corresponding value of probability 3 by 8, plus we have third value of x minus the mean squared into the corresponding probability, plus 3 minus 3 by 2 squared into corresponding probability. Now these terms can be easily calculated with the help of a calculator, and this variance comes out to be equal to 3 divided by 4. So this gives a measure of the spread of the variable x. So sigma x in this case would be root of variance of x, which is a straightforward calculation, root of 3 by 4, which is square root of 3 divided by 2. So sigma x also gives the spread of the distribution of the random variable x. At the last point, let us understand another concept which is called as cumulative distribution function. It is denoted as capital F of x, and it is the sum of all possible f of xi's or xj's, let us say, such that j is less than or equal to I, or xj is less than or equal to xi, to be more precise. So it is the sum of, so f's, these f's are the probabilities, and the capital F is sum of the probabilities. So sum of all the probabilities up to a value, up to a given value of x. So if this appears to be slightly abstract, let us understand it through the same example of tossing of 3 coins and x corresponding to the number of heads. Now we know that x has values 0, 1, 2 and 3 with the corresponding probabilities called as f of x or p as 1 by 8, 3 by 8 3 by 8 and 1 by 8. Now suppose we are to find out capital F of x, and this f of x corresponds to the sum of all the probabilities up to a given value of x. So for the first value of x, it is just same as 1 by 8. Now for the second value of x, for the second value of x, it is the sum of these two probabilities, that is 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8, which is 4 by 8. For the third value of x, it is going to be sum of first three, right? So we have to sum all the probabilities up to a given value of x. So 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 3 by 8, which is 7 by 8. And for the last value, it is the sum of all the probabilities, 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 1 by 8, which is 8 by 8, which is equal to 1. Right? So this capital F of x can also be plotted on a graph 0, 1, 2 and 3. For the value 0, the value is 1 by 8. For 1, the value is 4 by 8. For 2, the value is 7 by 8, and 3, the value is 8 by 8, which is 1. Right? So this is how the graph looks like. We should note that f of x for the highest value of j or I is always going to be equal to 1, because it is the sum of all possible probabilities. As can be seen that for this last allowed value of x, namely 3, the value of capital F of x, or the cumulative distribution function, just note that this is called as cumulative because it goes on adding the probabilities, so it is called as cumulative distribution function. We see that for the last value of x, variable x, the cumulative distribution function is always equal to 1. So gradually capital F of x goes on increasing and it reaches the value 1 always. This was regarding the random variables associated with a sample space and its use in probability. Thank you.